This video is sponsored by Epidemic Sound. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Hannah. You called it absolutely sitting in a snow pile in front of a log pile because it's pretty. So anyway, I just wanted to let you guys know that today's video is going to be a little different from how my content is usually filmed. Today I wanted to take a break and show you guys how I go about the process of filming my YouTube videos and then also pulling them together. I plan on taking you through some footage that might feel familiar from one or two of my last videos, and I'm gonna just show you kind of like the behind the scenes of how those were filmed, then also interject a little bit of how I'm editing each segment as I go. And then I also want you guys to pay special attention to the music throughout this entire video because this video is sponsored by Epidemic Sound, which I'm stoked about because Epidemic Sound is this huge music library that is my total go-to for all full-length songs. Music is a super integral way of how I pull the video along and set tones and get you to feel either excited or upbeat or calm and relaxed. All of the music in their library comes with all rights included, so I don't have to worry about copyright claims or content takedowns. I'm gonna start the video now, and I just wanted to do that little intro so that, you know, what you're about to see isn't kind of confusing or jarring from my normal style. I hope you enjoy it. It's been kind of a confusing process, but I think it worked out. Yeah, I guess you'll find out. I think it's like -2 out right now, but the moon is out and I want a time lapse. I have a sweater on, I'm cold, and it's late, and I'm gonna have to come back out here at a later time tonight so that I can grab my phone because it's cold out. Okay.
Straight cruising, headed for bruising, watching out for number one. You gotta slow down and look around you, son.
So I went and put this tripod out here last night because I wanted to get a time lapse of the moon, and then when I went back out to check on it like at 1:30, it was still going, and I was like, well dang, maybe I should just, like, it's dead now, but I was like, well, maybe I'll just leave it out here for the night to check on it again at 5 o'clock in the morning. And it had like 15 or something, so I took it in for an hour, charged it, went back out at like 6 o'clock, I think, and that was only at like 25% charged, so I was like, whatever, I'll just get a little bit more time lapse. So I went and put it back out, and then I just let it run dead. This makes you recording because this is the fun part. This is where I'm holding all of these things, but then I want to get a transition shot, so I have to go like this so that it looks like I walk out of that door and then into this room and I set everything down. And I go like this. Wait. One moment, let me get the frothy froth. Ain't that just something? So Finally gourmet breakfast here. You got the easier ones by far. I am struggling. I've done more than you. Hey guys, so this is the part where I'm going to cut away from the video for a second to kind of go back and show you how I edited down some of what you've watched so far. So if I zoom out and we go back to this very beginning, way over here, you'll probably remember these short 5-second segments of nature shots at the very beginning of the video. This is kind of my go-to method for segueing the viewer into the video. I really like that they're calm, and I really like that they also give you guys a sense of where this video is going to be set. Like in this case, you can see that the video is going to be taking place at my house in the woods, and it is going to be very snowy out. I'm going to show and talk a little bit more about these later in the video, but for right now I just wanted to kind of give you a sense of how short they were. They're really cut down. I took a whole bunch of footage here and then I just cut it into short 5-second segments. And then underneath that, I underlaid some music. This is from Epidemic Sound over here. This is their main page. So this is what their main page looks like. I'm logged in. This is my channel. And then this is possibly my favorite part about Epidemic Sound. This portion right here has saved my life almost every single time I'm filming a video. These are my recommended songs, and I can refresh the page and a whole nother list of songs will pop up, but they are based off of things that I've used in the past, and they're pretty spot on, so I can usually count on being able to find a song right off of this list. I will download it. Click on the download button, click download. I'm gonna go over to my music folder. This is actually the song that I ended up using. So I'm gonna grab that and then I would just drag it over to my timeline. Obviously I already have the song in here. What I usually do is I'll cut the song longer than it needs to be, and I will take this little knob thing, and normally it's over here, and I will take it and drag it all the way over to where the intro is kind of fading out. And I find that that is a lot more pleasant than just cutting it off right here. It's less abrupt and you don't even really notice that the music fades out. And then I actually use this same song by Melanie Bell later on with the time-lapse footage, and this is another thing I like about Epidemic Sound. A lot of their lyric songs also have an instrumental-only counterpart. So I use this a ton when I only want lyrics in a small part of the footage, and this section over here is a great example. So I actually set up my camera to record us waking up when I went outside to check on my time-lapse at around 5 in the morning, and then I just went back to sleep. I personally feel really weird faking a wake-up shot, so I usually just set up the camera and let it run. So when you see me waking up, I'm actually waking up. Circling back to the music, you might have noticed that during the time-lapse footage, I used the lyrical version of Easy Now, but during the waking up scene, there's suddenly only the instrumental track playing, which I think helps transition the shots without abruptly ending the music just because I don't want lyrics playing any longer. And having both versions of the song makes this super easy to do. I just grab both versions, stack them on top of each other, and when I want lyrics or not, I just cut out the version I don't want playing at that moment. And now I'm gonna let you guys move right back into the video. We're gonna find out. I try to film these in-between moments instead of jumping from breakfast to straight outside. Film like a little segment of, oh, I gotta put on my thing, and then I gotta put on my boots, and then I gotta open the door. So every time I do new kind of action, a lot of times I'll swap the camera positioning. I'll do like this shot, getting the snowsuit on. And then to keep the pace moving, I usually grab the tripod after this, and I'll just throw it in a different room or a different angle. So next I'm gonna put my boots on. I'll grab this tripod and I'll probably put it over here. Now I'll just like frame this up. You can see my boots in the shot, and then I think my head will be in the shot. Sometimes it's not, and that's just the way it has to be. Okay, so this is the silly, like, typical YouTube shot where you have to pretend you're going out the door, and then you have to come back to the camera. Because it looks good. It's satisfying. And then I come back and grab the camera. Let it film for like 5 seconds. I'll do like, you can see the snow against the building, which is nice. Getting a little bit of movement in a still shot. The noise of the snow is really nice right now. all of this is just like kind of filler stuff so that the video has, as much as my videos usually are just like kind of chaos and messy footage, a lot of times I'll have like a little bit of this kind of backup calm footage so that it's got kind of an ebb and flow, I guess, so it's not all just chaos. I think you get like a moment of peace to show how beautiful and peaceful this place really is. You can come on. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Maybe I'll get a little bit of this wood pile. It's nice if you are actually just holding it. You get that kind of natural like handheld movement. It's just a different kind of style. Oh, that's really pretty. That was so pretty. Oh my god. Our ice is just so safe. Whoa. Okay, we'll fixate on it in a minute. I got one more still shot. Sometimes you have to stand here until there's wind so that the tree moves. Sometimes I'll cheat. Okay, I think that was enough B-roll. So to transition from walking out the door to then going to this activity, I would probably start at the door and talk to the camera. So we'll go back to the door. It sounds like way more steps than it actually is just because I'm explaining it all. I'm just like, okay, I'm walking out the door. I'm gonna hold up the camera and talk a little bit about what we're about to do. And normally Molly wouldn't have a camera in her hand. So normally I go like this. As the scene where I walk out this door ends, I would cut into this talking portion and I would go, okay, well, Molly and I just finished breakfast and we're going to test out the ice for the ice ring. And I'm a little worried because I feel like it's not going to work because there's already a section of the ice that is visibly broken and shallow and empty and hollow. Trick to talking to the camera is what I've found. The easiest way for me is talk like you're just talking to a friend on FaceTime. I just kind of talk at my face. A lot of times people comment that they don't like that I don't look directly into the lens, but I have a tendency to just look at the screen because it feels like I can just talk to myself. That's how I feel comfortable talking, because it feels like I'm talking to a person versus looking at like a little black hole. It just feels a little more awkward to me. So I just talk like this, talk at myself, feel like I'm on FaceTime, and it makes it easier. And a lot of times it just comes with practice, I think. So I'd probably walk over here and point it out at the ice. And Molly and I are probably gonna get in over here where there's broken ice. So I'm gonna try get that in the shot. So I'll probably put him out over here. And this is where my tall tripod might come in. I might go grab that. A lot of times if I'm too lazy, which happens most of the time, I'll just grab like a tree. But occasionally the trees are too skinny. So I'm gonna go grab my big tripod and set it here and just kind of get a full long shot, and then Molly and I will just go play in the scene, and I'll let the camera roll because I don't like interfering with real life. Okay. I really only use this if it's convenient, like it's nearby, or if it's really impossible to get a shot from where I'm standing. So because Molly and I are gonna come in over there, I'm just framing this shot so that you can see kind of down the length of this. I may actually move it back a little more, just so that if we go off further this way, we're still visible. But I wanna frame it that way because I have no idea where we'll go. Usually once I set up a shot like this, I just leave the camera because I wanna just enjoy myself. Oh, sorry. Talk to the little black hole. That's it. And now you will see the footage that comes from this. Hey, me again, sorry. I just wanted to jump in here and point out that you just watched a ton of talking footage. Editing talking footage is one of my least favorite things because you actually have to sit and listen to it versus just skimming through. Not to mention, I tend to be really long-winded and rambling while also throwing likes and ums into every single sentence, which makes my job a million times harder. When I edit, I usually go through and take out a ton of that stuff because I think it makes it less distracting for the viewer. I just wanted to show you quick what a before and after of that sounds like. So here's a bit of unedited footage. Or like I just showed you like the transition of going from breakfast to walking out the door to then like going to this activity.
Now I'm going to cut those bits out, and this is what it sounds like.
The door. I just showed you the transition of going from breakfast to walking out the door to then going to this activity.
One other thing I'll sometimes do when there's a bit of talking footage is put some quiet music beneath it. Like in the part where I was filming B-roll footage, I had some piano music playing just low enough to not be distracting, but it also pokes through and adds a little ambiance to the background. I found this particular song using Epidemic Sound's similar tracks list that pops up when you click on a song. And I'll use this feature a lot when I find a song that's like almost what I want, but might not be exactly right.
Oh, it makes me so sad. Oh my god, this makes me so sad. I die. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is breaking ice right over here. I mean, whatever. It was a test round. Feels like I'm hopping on cardboard or something. Well, maybe if I Zamboni it, it'll slowly get a level. Because it's, I mean, look, it's not going all the way through. Boom. Ready? Alright. And that's how you film. What? And that's how you film yourself having a good time. Oh, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. You just forget that you're filming.
I thought this would be a good segment to show how long my footage usually is. So that segment that you just watched, this is that segment uncut, and it is 27 minutes long. I just set that camera off to the side and forgot about it. And I love doing that because I feel like that's how I just authentically can be myself on camera and enjoy my time and space. But that being said, the downside to doing that is that I end up with about 15 to 20 hours worth of footage every single week that I have to cut down to a 20 to 30 minute video. I will say that it is pretty easy to cut it down. Usually I just skim through it the way I'm doing right now. I can kind of gauge points of interest, like, okay, nothing's happening. Oh, we're starting to get on the ice. So I would cut it here and then I would just delete that chunk. So that was about 3 minutes that I just cut out. And what it eventually turns into is what you guys just watched. I will say one of the anomalies is that I used a speed through here. Normally I like to cut down long segments and just find the funny moments to make it go by quickly. But every once in a while I will put a speed through in, especially if it's clearing something like this snow or going back and forth unloading a car. In that instance, I do really like to go back to Epidemic Sound. They have this fun thing where I can go to genres. Usually I'm in the like acoustic kind of genre, but in these kind of instances, I do like to go to the comedy section, and I'll usually just go through and I'll click on everything and listen. And then if I'm not finding anything in comedy, sometimes I'll just go straight to bloopers, and a lot of times I'll just go off the title. Oh, I fell down. Oh yeah, that's a winner for sure. Okay, I'm gonna download that quick. And now I'm just gonna go back over to my music folder, grab it, and drag it underneath that speed through. As you can see, I've cut it into 3 segments. This first one's just to kind of ease it into the scene, and then it'll go through the speed through at normal sound, and then I'll ease it out of the scene. And that's how I kind of make footage that was already kind of silly and make it that much more comedic. While we're on the topic of making scenes feel a bit more comedic, Epidemic Sound also has a huge library of sound effects. In this video, I did add an ice cracking sound effect. I'm not sure if anyone noticed it, but when I almost fell, it drew a little bit more attention to me catching my foot on the ice. I don't use sound effects very often, but it is really nice to have the option when I want to add like that little bit of extra drama or comedy to a scene.
So we're gonna take a break before we make our little Zamboni thing. Meanwhile, I'm gonna just dump all of this footage that I've been taking onto my computer because I have learned that it is in my best interest to dump footage to the computer as often as possible because anything can happen. And the amount of times I've lost footage is more than is comfortable. It hurts. It's sad time. Sad time. So I do actually, since I shoot on iPhone, everything has to be airdropped to my computer. That is indeed what I do, so don't think you're alone in that. Yes, that is quite time consuming, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. If anyone has any faster methods, let me know, because this takes quite a bit of time.
Alright, this seems like a good place to talk about what tech I use. As far as filming equipment goes, I've always filmed on my iPhone. While the quality might not be as good as a real camera, I've liked the convenience of how small they are, and the battery life and storage capacity are the only way I can film for the length of time that I usually film. Other than that, I've always just used a MacBook, a Samsung SSD drive, Final Cut Pro, and of course, Epidemic Sound. I have a personal subscription on Epidemic Sound since I only have one account on each social media platform, but they do offer commercial and enterprise options as well, depending on what you need. If you guys want to check them out, their website is linked in my bio. Just click on that and you can use my discount code hannah60 to get 60 days free and see if you like it. I guess at this point, I just want to point out that you don't need anything fancy to start a YouTube channel. I started with my iPhone 8 and iMovie until I had about 25,000 subscribers, and I'm definitely still on the lower scale end of YouTube equipment.
A lot of tools, but then you know what I end up using? Oh my goodness! You did the wrong ends. It's working! I wish I had a handle on it.
I usually like to fade out my videos with a kind of calm, conclusive ending. My plan for this particular day had been to end the video with footage of an ice skating party I had with some friends. But, of course, the one video I set to record that night became corrupt, and I completely lost all of that footage. I spent a huge chunk of time trying to recover it. Ultimately, I ended up just accepting it was gone and got out there another night with Matt, and we had a great time skating around. If there's one thing this job is always teaching me, it's definitely adapting and letting go. That being said, I think that's kind of all I have to say about getting a video together. There's not a ton to it. It's really all just stuff that comes with practice and becomes second nature. So with that, I think I'm gonna just leave you. I hope you liked this. I'll see you later, guys. Again, this video is sponsored by Epidemic Sound.